Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rocha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, dwell in the truth of the gospel of Yahawashi from. And peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect, the men, women, and children that are predestined to receive salvation and to be the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of Israel. So just want to get into this article right here, going in on the plagues that the Most High Yahawah, through his son Yahawashi, is sending upon this world, all right, and this evil, wicked world, and upon these people that are lofty and prideful, okay, and disregard the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, all right, and Babylon the Great is truly fallen, all right, it's right happening right before our eyes, and we're seeing how the Lord is bringing judgments and his vengeance upon his place, and we know that one of the judgments that the Lord uses, all throughout the scriptures, all throughout his ways that he brings his wrath upon the evil or the wicked. One of the judgments is famine. So here you have a article, okay, which came out 2 days ago, from on zerohedge.com. It says largest U.S. food distributor having trouble keeping shelves stocked. Price shock imminent. Okay, and you already had the Fed and speaking about the inflation, which they just came out a couple days ago, said that the inflation is actually higher than what they anticipated. But that inflation is soon going to turn into hyperinflation. All right, which is going to be one of the reasons why they bring in this digital system, okay, and this digital currency, which is going to be coupled in ushering in that charagma. All right, but we're gonna get into this article, okay, and then we're going to hit the precepts, for the warning, to the sheep, okay, the ones who have ears to hear, let them hear, while the rest, okay, that have, disregarded the words of the Heavenly Father, Bashim Yahawashi, that have, lived in liberty, but loathe the laws of the Lord. Well, this is what you got coming for you, okay? You got the judgments, you got famine, you got destruction, you got captivity, you got death, you got the sword that is going to be your reward for your wickedness, for your evil. So it says one of the defining features of the early phases of the COVID pandemic, when public fear was rampant and when few wanted to take chances to supply chains would remain viable, is that for a brief period, U.S. supermarkets resembled those of the USSR circa the late 1980s. Many items were in short supply, and some, notably toilet paper, Clorox, and perishables such as milk, were out of stock for weeks. All right, and scenes like this we're seeing all over the United States, aka Babylon the Great. Starting around last March, 2020. All right, March, because people were panic buying. Okay, but as we're going to read, you have things happening again like this, but it's not because of panic buying. All right, there's a worse reasoning why you're going throughout stores throughout America that you're seeing empty shelves, all right, which goes into prophecy that the Lord said was going to happen. Yahawashi said that these things were going to happen, before his return and before the end of the world. So it says, fast forward to today, when fears about the Delta strain are being fanned by the media, the U.S. may be facing a similar shortage of key products, only this time for a very different reason. Okay? A shortage of key products, but only this time for a very different reason. Not a surge in demand, aka not a panic buying, but rather a drop in supply. Okay? A drop in supply, which is literally what a famine is. When there is not enough supply to meet the demand of the population. It says according to Bloomberg, some of the largest U.S. food distributors are reporting difficulties in fulfilling orders as a lack of workers weigh on the supply chain. Now, you have these companies saying that there's a lack of workers on the supply chain, okay, which there's many different reasons for that. Okay, one of the reasons is a lot of people are not able to get work because of their location. Also, a lot of people have become dependent on the government, a la the universal basic income, okay, and the stimulus that the federal government is pumping into the unemployment, which a lot of people are choosing rather to not even work at all than to you know they're choosing now that not to work and getting those unemployment checks rather than to actually be a part of the labor force. All right, and the scriptures tells in this captivity that we're in, Paul said what? If a man don't work, he don't eat. Okay, if a man don't work, he don't eat. So we about to see a lot of people are not going to be eating. It says take distribution Cisco, North America's largest wholesale food distributor, which is turning away customers in some areas where demand is exceeding capacity. Okay, they're turning away customers in some areas where demand is exceeding capacity. Now, people are not, they're saying that there's a lack of workers, but now you also have another paradigm happening where companies are now forcing people to take that Vanessa, mandating taking that Vanessa, or else they won't be able to come. They basically won't be able to, work. Which you have a lot of the population. All right, a lot of people are reluctant or hesitant to take in that Vanessa. So if you got people that's not taking the Vanessa, therefore they're not being able to get jobs, and then there's going to be a shortage of jobs because there's a shortage, a shortage of workers because workers are not taking the Vanessa. That is all going to have a trickle effect. Okay, and now the trickle effect is the fact of what you're about to, what we're reading is going to go into the famine. Now, on top of that, you have all of these different climate disparities. Okay, climate change, which they want to use climate change, but really, it's the judgments of Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi that is also having a negative effect on crops. All right, which that's something that is also going to exacerbate the famines that is ensuing to take place here in America. You see, the Lord is destroying this place, inside and out, man, up, down, left, right. Okay, the Lord is completely, destroying the economy of Babylon, a great America, to the point where it's not going to be able to be healed. Let's get that. All right, because hey, the Lord is very meticulous. The Lord is very precise with his execution of judgment. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed? Okay? There's no balm for America's pain. There is no way to heal the infrastructure of America. Even though you got Sleepy Joe passing that infrastructure law, all right, bill, trying to stimulate this economy, stimulate the infrastructure. But the Lord said that there is no balm for her pain. So like it says, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon. Okay? So that's what these the keepers of the house are saying. All right, these talking heads, these big wigs, these CEOs of these industries, of these corporations, they're saying we would have healed Babylon, but everything that they're trying to do, every time they try to pass a law or stimulate this or give money over here, it's actually causing more of a destruction of Babylon, because this is something that is coming from the heavens. This is the Lord's doing. So it says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So no matter what they do, America is not going to return to its state of being this great superpower. All right. As it's written in Isaiah 47 chapter, that tender and delicate, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellencies, is not going to ever return to this beacon of light, as I believe that was Ronald Reagan said back in the 80s. Okay, there is no healing America. So it says, forsake her, let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgments reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even unto the sky. So see, because this is the Lord's judgment. When you go up to verse 6, it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, this is the time of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi's vengeance, Yahweh Shaphat, okay, the Most High's judgment. And it's already been prescribed what the Lord is going to reward Babylon with. And it's not nothing nice, man. Okay, it's not something that is going to be reconcilable, not something that is going to be, just a time period of, turbulence and a rough patch, and then ultimately it bounces back. There's no bounce back here, man. All right, the Lord is visiting this place for its iniquity, for its wickedness, for its evil dealings, for its unrighteous decrees. So it says, going back here, it says worse food inflation is about to soar. So when you put this fact that is having a shortage in supply on top of food inflation, which they already, like I said, they've already been talking about that. What do you think? You compound those two things together, you add those two things together. What is that going to cause, man? When there's a shortage in supply, and then on top of that, inflation, it's going to be all out anarchy, man. Okay, all out hell is going to break loose in this place. And yeah, we've constantly been saying this, but that is for the warning, all right, of the ones who are listening, but also it's because what we're seeing coming down the pipeline is these things, all right. This is what is actually happening at this very moment. Now you still got people that have this false sense of security. People that because they might be able to go to their local stores, that they are not thinking that, oh, this can never hit them. But you had that one woman went to, I believe it was a Whole Food store. She went to a Walmart. All right. She went to a Walmart, and basically she's like half of the whole Walmart was emptied out. I posted a couple, I believe like a month or two ago. All right. A local shop right in my area, all of the refrigerated juices was gone. And it said, basically due to a shortage in supply, they didn't have any of the refrigerated juices. So when these things start to compound and and the Lord starts to, bring it heavier and heavier upon this place, the ones of us that has been watching, we already expect, okay, because the Lord said his word is not returning to him void. So we already expect these things, but the ones of the masses of people who are not watching, who are not taking heed, when these things come, it's going to hit them like what? As Yahawashi said, like a thief in the night. So it says, worse food inflation is about to soar. The company said prices for key goods. Listen to this. Remember, right? You got goods that are what you want to call them? Recreational. Okay, things that you don't necessarily need. All right. Remember when the whole pandemic happened, you had stores that they deemed essential and non-essential. Well, now you got the essential stores are in a are in straits right now. And when these essential stores are in straits, that means that there is that there is a corrosion in the supply chain, which is ultimately going to lead to what these famines. So it says the company says prices for key goods such as chicken, pork, and paper products are taking for takeout packaging are climbing amid tight supplies. And on top of this, what's been happening for the past week and a half, 2 weeks. You've had a lot of recalls on meat products because of salmonella, and things like that. I believe earlier this week there was a recall on Italian, I said Italian style meats, and it's not just a couple, hundred. They're talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds, all right, of meat that are basically unsafe to eat, all right. And then you add also with these pestilences, like I said, the wildfires, the floods that are destroying the crops. Okay, the heat wave that are destroying the cattle. All these things are happening simultaneously, man. And what is all going to lead to? All roads are leading to one of the judgments, the sword judgments of the Lord, famine, which I said in the beginning is a consistent plague that the Lord uses to judge nations, man. And what do you think he's going to do here in America, the most wicked nation, the harshest judgment that is ever going to be in recorded or non-recorded history, for that matter? Well, it's all recorded in the scriptures, I should say. So what do you think is the Lord is going to do here? You think he's going to soften the famines in this place? No. As Yahawashi said, it's going to be a time like never before since there was a nation. So it says, in particular, production has slowed for high demand, labor-intensive cuts like bacon. All right, and these Babylonians love that swine, especially you wicked Babylonian Israelites. Love that bacon, ribs, wings, and tenders. You had I believe earlier this year, you had a wing shortage. Okay, it says Cisco said, and if intermediate and final wholesale prices are rising, just wait until they emerge on the customer side. So there's already inflation happening, and this is just going to exacerbate the inflation. So even if you do happen to come across some food, all right, in your local, grocery market or whatever, the prices for that food is going to be astronomical because of inflation and hyperinflation. And then they got something that is, happening, shrinkflation, okay, which the basically the size of the goods that you are looking for is actually shrinking, but the prices is still the same, which is going to cause what? You have less food, but you're paying the same amount of money, right? So it says the culprit for the coming price shock, Biden catastrophic stimmies and universal basic income, which has unleashed havoc on a U.S. job market and led to historic labor shortages. There are certain areas across the country that are more challenged by the labor shortage, and our volume is of orders is regularly exceeding capacity. Now the Lord talked about in I believe that's was that second. Is that second Edges? Let me see. Second Edges. I believe it's the 16th chapter. Yeah, second Edges chapter 16, verse 22. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine." And that's been happening over there, in these third world countries. It's not really talked about in America, but over there in countries like Yemen, all right, other countries over there in the so-called Middle East, they're dealing with famines over there in certain parts of Europe. They're dealing with low supply of foods. So it says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So there are going to be pockets of societies and towns and whatever that might have still food coming in, but it's going to be at a at a low, at a it won't, it's not going to be as normal of the food coming in as it was before. But let's say, for instance, you have a place, a town that they're getting food, right? But the town, the next town next to them, their stores are low on groceries or foods. What do you think those people that's in that town going to do for food? Are they going to catch wind of the fact that there's food coming into over here, and they're going to go there with swords in their hands, as it is written in 2nd Esdras the 15th chapter, and destroy them with the sword for what? For lack of bread in their own communities or towns or whatso have you. So even if you escape the hunger, the Lord said, well, I got another destruction for you, the sword. And that's why it says here in the book of Ezekiel 4 verse 21, "For thus saith Yahweh power, how much more when I send my 4 sore destructions upon Jerusalem, the sword, the famine, and the noisome beasts, and the pestilence to cut off from it man and beast." So you have the judgments that the Lord said that he here is set upon Jerusalem. But when you read in the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, it tells you that the curses that fell upon us is going to fall upon our enemies. So so things that have happened to us, these curses that have happened to us, we can expect definitely that they're going to be happening in Babylon the Great as well. And Jacob, okay, is still here in Babylon the Great, America, Israel. So these judgments that the Lord is going to bring, it says what? The sword, the famine, and noisome beasts, and the pestilence, which you had them talking about different variants of the Crown Royale, expected to come out, which could be more deadlier than what's going on right now. All right. Topple that with the things, the spirits of vengeance that the Lord is going to bring. Okay, that Esau don't even have a clue about, because the scripture tells you that the powers shall be in fear. So things are going to get so crazy. It's going to be, even these elites are going to be in fear of what is going on in the earth, man. They think that they're in control now, but ultimately Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi is in control, and that's why they're going to flee to their bunkers and to their try to go into the heavens, because shit's going to get so bad on the earth that they're not even going to be able to use comforting words of deception, okay, and trying to make it seem as though everything's still under control. All right, so let's go back. This is real Salaki. So yeah, it says Cisco Chief Executive Officer Kevin Horican said in a letter to clients earlier this month, "This has unfortunately led to service disruptions for some of our customers." Horican's troubling observations were confirmed by an analysis from Deka Data, which tracks retailers' transactions with shoppers and manufacturers. It showed that retailers are bumping up against manufacturer capacity as they stockpile ahead of the holiday season. In July, the incidence of suppliers limiting or capping or putting a cap on orders from customers was more than doubled what it was in January, as data show. Why? Because there is a scarcity. Okay, so they are capping now what customers can order. Another major distributor, United Natural Foods, is having trouble getting food to stores on time. The company blamed not just labor shortages, but also delays in the procurement of some imported goods like cheese, coconut waters, and spices as causing the problem. And that's also going into the um, what the freights, okay, the shipment, okay. See, when you are watching and you're paying attention, you see that all these things are happening, and it's all going to have a devastating effect on livelihood, okay, your day to day here in America, man. But once again, people are not watching. People are zombified, man. They they're not putting everything together, and ultimately it's because it wasn't meant for them to do so. All right, it was only given unto the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, to understand the times that we're in, because the Lord said what, that you have when the summer, when the figs is budding, then you know that the summer is not. So when all these things, are coming to pass, know that the end is nigh. The kingdom of heaven is nigh at hand. But before the kingdom of heaven comes, what, this judgment has to take place. So it says translation. Where was that? It says we anticipate additional supplier challenges in the short term with gradual improvement through the fall and winter. And they're always trying to say that things are improving, but as we read in the book of Jeremiah, Babylon is not healed. Okay? Because every time they say, "Oh, things are getting better," then something happens that is actually makes things worse. So you don't believe their report, man. Don't believe, their soothsaying words. Okay? Because that's what the devil does. He have all hell break loose right in front of you, but then say, "Oh, well, things are going to get better." That's the same thing they said about the whole pandemic, right? Once in quote unquote the Vanessa started to be pushed out. Oh, we expect everybody to have a normal, 4th of July and then this and that, but here it is now. Shit is even worse now. Okay, they're talking about the deaths are raising up again. They're reinstating mask mandates now. On top of that, Vanessa mandates. Okay, creating a division, taking people's God-given liberties, civil liberties away. And when you take civil liberties away, what do you think how people are going to react? They're going to become what? Uncivil. If they don't have any civil liberties, they become uncivil. And when uncivilness happens in a society, that's what? Second Esdras the 15th chapter. Let's actually pull that up real quick. All right, it says Second Esdras chapter 15 verse 11. But I will bring them out with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Okay, and the Lord sent plagues upon Egypt, man. Even before our deliverance, you had the Egypt got hit with a famine. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And this is speaking about this modern day Egypt. All right. It says that they that till the ground shall mourn. All right. Farmers mourning. Why? For their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Those floods, you had hail that's been hitting different various parts of Babylon. Like I said before, that heat, okay, that blasting heat wave, these fires, all right, wildfires. So the Lord is actually plaguing this place already with these judgments, and it's ultimately going to cause civil unrest in this place. So let's go back here. It says, a United representative said, the company's top priority is to support customers by working diligently to recover and bring their shelves back to normal inventory levels as quickly as possible. And there is no bringing it back to normal, man. First and foremost, this place was never normal because it exalted wickedness, all right? It exalted evil, it exalted iniquity. So you're reaping what you have sown. Says translation, it's about to get bad as the double whammy of insufficient workers and snarled supply chains leads to shortages of key perishables and logically must higher prices. Okay, I guess it's meant to say much higher prices. So what your money is going to fail because you're not going to have enough money to afford these perishable items because there's a shortage. And when there's a shortage of something, that means its value goes up. Now you get this scripture here in the where is it? Pull it up. I believe that's Genesis, the 42nd chapter. Type it like this: money. That's like it. Genesis 47 verse 5. Now this is when the famine hit Egypt. All right, during the time that Joseph was there. Genesis 47 verse 15. It says, and when the money failed in the land of Egypt, and that's also going to happen. See, they're pumping up, they're manipulating the stock market. So people that are in the stocks, they're thinking, oh, everything is all good. I'm still making money, X, Y, and Z. But that's all a fluff, man. What they call in the industry, it's a big bubble that's about to burst. But that's Wall Street. When you go down to Main Street, what's actually happening, in society, all right, people's money is actually failing because of the inflation, because of the shrinkflation, so on and so forth. Just like what was going on during the time of Joseph when he was in the land of Egypt. So it says, when the money failed in the land of Egypt, in the land of Canaan, and all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread. For why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. Meaning that your money couldn't afford, you didn't have enough money to afford the food, the food. Okay? Money wasn't able to buy you the food that you needed. And you can look at Venezuela for that case, because the money system in Venezuela failed. Okay, they went from inflation to hyperinflation to the point where their actual currency was worthless. That also happened in, I believe, what was that? The Deutsch over in Germany. They was taking barrels of the Deutsch and burning it for for heat because the money failed. So if the Lord said that He's going to bring plagues upon Egypt, okay, like how He did before, well, one of the plagues is going to be what? Your money failing, and that's going to be a beautiful thing, man. Because in this society, this capitalistic, wicked ass society, people see money as God, man. All right, especially our people, they uplift money as it being their savior. But the Lord said, "What riches profiteth not in the day of wrath." And one of the wraths that the Lord is going to bring is that famine. And your money is not going to profit you when there's no lack of food. If somebody got food and they tell you, and there's a lack of food, and they were like, "Yo, I'll buy some food off of you," and I'm like, "What the fuck am I gonna do? I can't eat your Benjamin. Your Benjamin is not going to do anything for me." Okay. So everybody that's been gloating and I'm chasing the bag, well, all right. Okay, you chasing that bag, but you gonna realize that bag that you was chasing is not gonna profit you anything in the time of famine. Okay, when your house gets ransacked, all right, let's get that. In 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 18, it says, "For because of their pride, cities shall be destroyed, the houses, Salakia, cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed." Why cities are going to be troubled? Once again, because you might have some cities, because when you read in that article, it said that certain parts of areas of the country is having shortages, right? So if certain part of a country is having shortages, that means these cities in those certain parts are troubled. So cities are going to be troubled. Houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Okay, and that's why they that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So your money, so nobody's going to, if somebody's hungry, all right, at the point of starvation, okay, and they got to feed their families, and you got a stack of money, okay, and you say, don't take my food, just take the money. In their mind, your money is worthless at that point. Your money, it might as well be grass, man. Okay, because they're not going. They didn't say here that they're going to spoil their goods because of a lack of money. No, because of a lack of bread. They're not going to care about your fucking Beamer, your Audi, your Lamborghini, your stacks of money. No, they gonna want that food, man. Okay, and when people get to the point of starvation, they tell you that you become animalistic. Okay, you don't think straight because you're in survival mode at that point. Where they call it a dog eat dog world. And on top of that, you got these people taking that Vanessa, that dragon juice. Hey man, people minds, man. You don't know what they got in that dragon juice. People might just turn it. It's gonna turn into a black summer. You watch that television, that TV series on Netflix, man. People are not nothing you're going to be able to do or say is going to be able to stop people from getting what they want, man. All right, there's going to be no reason reasoning with somebody. This it says it right here because of lack of bread and great tribulation. All right, so let's go back here. It says U.S. companies across industries are reporting a dearth of workers, and dearth is synonymous with famine. So you got a famine of workers amid sweetened unemployment benefits, stimulus payments, and a pandemic that has reduced the appeal of in-person employment. Houston-based Cisco is aggressively hiring warehouse workers and truck drivers and offering referral and sign-on bonuses along with retention money for current staff. The entire food sector is seeing massive labor shortages. All right, and you need people to work in these industries for the food flow to keep continuing into your grocery stores, man. Because people have this warped idea that food just automatically appears in grocery stores. You're just gonna go drive to your grocery store and there's just gonna be food there. But once again, this is a trickle effect, and it's coming down the pipeline, man. Okay, it says Benjamin Walker, Senior Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Merchandise, blah, 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 blah. Service levels are at the lowest I've seen in my 16-year career. And it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. It doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. That's right. It's not going away. It's not going to just up and magically get better. No, the Lord said that this is the beginning of sorrows, man. The beginning of death and great mourning. The beginning of wars and great evils. The beginning of famines. This is the beginning of famines. Okay? And if this is the beginning, you can only imagine how worse and how bad it's going to get. But the Lord, for us, Lord willing, we are part of that number that is sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered. The Lord said that we are not going to be touched in that evil day, man. Was that Psalms 37? Where is it at? Psalms 37 verse 19. It says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. All right, and going pursuant to Isaiah 65, my servants shall eat. This is why being in his truth is going to be so valuable, man. The Lord said, what? I shall make a man more precious than fine gold, even a golden wedge of Ophir. Why is he going to be precious? Because he's going to be satisfied in the day of famine. Because the sword, because the sword shall not come nigh unto him. The plague shall not come nigh unto him. That's why he's going to be more precious than fine gold. Women ain't in that day. Diamonds is what they say. Diamonds is a girl's best friend. Nah, not in that day. What's going to be a girl's best friend is a man of the Lord. Okay, a man that Yahawashi has favored. That's who's going to be precious, that's who's going to be a man's best friend. All right, Isaiah 4 verse 1. Let's get that. It says, and in that day, what day? The evil day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and will wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Okay, they're gonna make their own food, man. They ain't gonna be no $200 dinner dates. They ain't gonna be no, oh, take me out to eat. No, they gonna say, oh, you got food? Look, we'll make the food. We'll cook it for you. We'll do all this, do all that. Only let us be called by your name, man, to take away our reproach, our taunt. You see? So let's go back here. It says finding truck drivers is next to impossible. He said, while freight costs are rising daily, the company's orders are arriving late and consequently facing delays. Facing delays is being sent to customers. On the outbound side, on-time deliveries are still above 50%, but have fallen from the usual rate of more than 90%. So what? The trucking deliveries are slowing down, man, which means them stocking these shelves is at a lower, it's above 50%, but it's lower than 90%. Getting the food to stores on time. And remember, okay, which we've been saying for years, that food supply in the stores only lasts. It's only up to 3 days worth of food supply in the stores, man. So if those trucks take longer than 3 days to get to a store, you're going to start seeing empty shelves. And now if you have a labor shortage, which means that there is a lower flow or influx, a slower influx of these truckers going into these stores, you top that with the fact that now you have them creating a scenario where you can't work basically unless you get this Vanessa, which means you want to even have less people working because not everybody is getting that Vanessa. So that's going to cause what? More outbound, companies ordering, getting in Salakia, grocery stores having their shelves restocked. Okay? So right here, the last sentence, it says, we all thought it would be over by now. It's just one thing after another, he said. This is going to be the norm for a while. And the thing is, you think no, the beginning of sorrows is not the norm. The beginning of sorrows is just that. It's the beginning of sorrows. You're going to wish that it was just like this. Okay, in the coming months. You're going to wish that the times that you're seeing right now was just the end of it. Okay? But as he said, we all thought that would be over by now. And it's not, because this is the judgment that the Lord has set forth upon his place, man. Okay, so get this one here. Isaiah 8 verse 21, it says, they that pass through it hardly be stead and hungry, and it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their king and their God and look upward. All right? So they going to curse your Joe Bidens, all you Jakes that, oh, you saved us, Biden, save us from Donald Trump. Okay? Oh, the healing the soul of America. Nah, you going to curse your king. You going to curse your leaders, man. And that's why in 2nd Esdras it said, what? They should not regard their kings nor princes. You see? It says, and curse their king and their God. All right, all of their false idols. All right, their sweet Jesus that is not, delivering them from this famine. All right. They're going to curse that. They're going to curse their money, because that's a lot of people gods as well. They're quote unquote, what's what women be talking about? They're, what's that shit that women be, their manifestation. Okay. Now the Lord going to manifest. He's going to manifest on your ass, man. Oh, let me get this. All right, this is Jeremiah 34 verse 17. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord, ye have not hearkened unto me. And you haven't hearkened unto the Lord, because the Lord sent out his prophets All right, we come in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi, but you have not hearkened unto him in proclaiming liberty. And that's what y'all thought. Oh, we just gonna get through this pandemic. It's gonna be a good summer. All right, you gonna have take your Vanessa. All right, we gonna be free. We gonna be back to normalcy. But you didn't hearken unto the Lord. The Lord didn't say none of that, man. All right, these are scourges for amendment, but you didn't amend yourself. So it said, "Ye have now hearkened unto me in proclaiming liberty, everyone to his brother, and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim a liberty for you." And this is how you know the Lord is bad. Lord said, "I proclaim a liberty for you." You didn't you was proclaiming liberty, all right, back then. Well, I got liberty. I'm gonna proclaim to you, saith the Lord, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine, and I will make you to be removed unto all the kingdoms of the earth. So that's what you gonna have coming for you. All right, you wanted to proclaim liberty and normalcy and going back to being wicked. All right, well the Lord said, "Nah, I'm gonna proclaim something for you." Let's see what this says in NLT. It says, "Therefore, this is what the Lord says: Since you have not obeyed me by setting your countrymen free, I will set you free to be destroyed by war, disease, and famine." Okay, war, disease, and famine. You will be an object of horror to all the nations of the earth. Hey, and that's what's going to happen, man. Okay, because America is going to be a reproach. It's going to be looked at by all these nations as being, as Scripture says, that they shall narrowly look upon thee, man. Okay, so I end that there, Lord willing. This was edifying unto the elect, giving all praises. Hey, Salakia. Before I go there, let me get this. I just seen it. This is Ecclesiasticus 39, Salakia, verse 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly. So to the sinner they are turned evil. All right, let's jump. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And we read in Jeremiah the 51st chapter that this is the Lord's vengeance. So famine is created for vengeance that is going to come upon the wicked, man. So, I end it there. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi, Bashim Rakakwadash, Shalom.